Hey guys, what's up? It's Kevin for the win. As you can see here, we finally got into the VHS Beta after so long, so we're jumping
How's everyone doing so
into
far?
a match. I'm going to give you my honest opinions. I've been playing VHS right now for about 6 hours, actually, in game time, and there are some glaring flaws with this game. Some of them can be easily fixed. Some of them, I don't know if they can be fixed, to be honest with you. So I'm going to give it to you straight. First and foremost, when you play VHS, obviously, like, anything, you can't really compare this to VHS. Not VHS, excuse me, Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight, in particular, is an asymmetrical horror game. This is an asymmetrical horror game as well,
Yeah,
but that's pretty much where the similarities kind of end, that it's a 4v1 asymmetrical horror game. But from there, it kind of deviates. Here in VHS, you have to, as you see, as a teen, craft weapons and actually get or break or destroy the stigmas of the monster. So basically, a monster basically has 4 life bars. You're crafting a weapon to try to take them out. One of the issues that you're going to run into the fact is that since this is still in closed beta, there are only about 1,200 people playing total. Well, total. So we have 1,200 people playing this game. One of the issues with that is the fact that most of the newer players, myself included, have pretty much been kind of thrown to the sharks, so to speak, in the sense that there are a lot of people who have been playing for a very long time this game that are very experienced, despite the fact that everything's reset. Another issue that is with this game that I actually spoke to some of the people in Discord, and I think the devs, actually, is the fact that because this moved over to Steam from its actual regular launcher, skill-based matchmaking has not really working as intended. Skill-based matchmaking in this, everybody's MMR rating for all intents and purposes has been set. So that's why you have people who are like level 40 going against people who are just starting like me. My faith is probably like level 2 or 3 right now. There's not too much that you can really do here. So that bit, really, matchmaking is the biggest issue right now with this game. I don't think that the game is actually new player friendly. In fact, this is the only match in particular where I feel we did well. Okay, only because the people that we were playing with knew what they were doing. So, with this particular game, like I said, you can't really hide from the monster. You have to build the weapons and everything of the sort. Being on voice comms becomes incredibly important for the success of a team in terms of teams in VHS. If you're not using comms, you can't communicate. Case in point, because all of us here, for the most part, outside of one person, was using comms, we were able to communicate with each other as to what we should be doing. But when you don't have comms, you're basically in a very big disadvantage in this particular game. Sure, there is a ping system. I think the enemy's coming. Yep, man, we wasted too much time and got greedy. So, there's that. One of the glaring issues that I have been finding with VHS is the fact that there's really no safe ways to loop against killers. So, if the killer pretty much decides that they're going to chase you around, there's not, like, a lot of windows you could vault through. In fact, there's only one map that I've come across where I could vault through a window. Instead, like, the only play I have here is I have to go through here, and hopefully that's enough to deviate the killer. So, one of the strategies that's very important, really, and I think the only strategy where you can work with, at least in terms of playstyles right now for VHS, is basically having a player. If you have a weapon, you should have your teammate run the killer towards you, and you're just hiding off on the side and hit them with that weapon. Another strategy, which I'm not really a big fan of, is you can hide in a corner and wait for one of the monsters to get towards you. The only problem with this particular strategy is the fact, like, let's say a character like Wart, who has echolocation, can kind of track the survivors. Also, the wolf can kind of track the survivors as well. I had heard that the wolf was really weak in this game, but after playing with him, and playing against him, the wolf is actually a pretty strong killer. Another issue really with the game, again, is when you go to jump into killer and you're a new killer, you are kind of stuck again in matchmaking where you're going to go against super experienced survivors, and it's going to be kind of a rough time. Another issue that, again, that I have with this game is the fact that everything's level dependent. So, like, if you want better weapons and better upgrades, you have to grind through levels and levels of experience. The level grind actually really kind of gatekeeps you from being able to perform excuse me, extremely well in this game. So one of the things that I definitely would recommend for people is if you're trying to get really into this, prepare to get frustrated quite a lot because you're going to get curb stomped and curb stomped trying to get some level. Fortunately, experience points kind of come pretty quickly in this game. So, like, yesterday I was streaming this a little bit, and I went from like a level 2 Faith to a level 10 Faith in about a 2 or 3 hour play session. But I feel like in order to really be able to do well, I'd have to have all my weapons maxed out, all my perks, and that can take a very long time. There's a level system, there's a grid system of every sort. It kind of feels very Dead by Daylight-ish in terms of a blood web with the perk system and how it works and how you get them. So, you know, I don't know. That's kind of where the similarities kind of come in. Now, honestly, in terms of first impressions of this game, I gotta say, like, it got the foundation for a good, fun type of game, but it's got some flaws right now. Right now, I feel like the biggest issue with this game is that it promotes a lot of camping. So, if you're a killer, you don't want to try to take out 4 teens that are all ganged up. So you have to try to do divide and conquer. You have to kind of poke and hit if you're playing as the wolf. A doll master, you kind of have to camp as well. On the survivor side, too, there's a lot of camping as well, as you're just basically crafting a weapon to hide in a corner and wait for somebody to lure it. Now, that, to me, is not a very fun, healthy metagame. Maybe this is what VHS was intending with their game. But again, it's like, if I have to just kind of, as a killer, wait around, hiding in a corner. Look, case in point here, this is a great example. Look at this. The killer is down to her last stigma. We know where they are.
And I'm down.
And all we have to do pretty much at this point is... Oh. Went too close to him there. I shouldn't have gotten that close.
Okay, who has the flamethrower?
Yep, I got down there.
I'm making one right now.
Alright.
Alright.
So anyway, like I was saying, you know what, it's a lot of camping that's involved. If you try to go head-to-head, case in point there, it's not gonna work. I'm not sure if this is very healthy for the long-term longevity of a game of this nature. I feel like there has to be some kind of overhauls here. I feel like there's a big disparity between survivor strength and killer strength. I feel like this is more of a survivor-sided game at the moment, and I don't really feel like, unless you're playing as Dollmaster, the killer has a effective way of performing successfully very well. The other thing about it is that when you get hit with a weapon in this game as a monster, you slow down so much to the point where you can't even get a hit off on them. And based on the way that certain weapons attack and their patterns, they have a very wide area of effect. So, like, even if you're kind of strafing around as the killer, if you get hit, even, like, on the tiny little pinky and everything of the sort, you pretty much are getting super slowed down and can't do anything. And when you have 14s doing this, ganging up on you, it becomes a significant issue. So, you know, this is one of these games where obviously it's in closed beta. This is still a work in progress, obviously, because there's not a lot of players playing this because it's a closed beta. Skill-based matchmaking is going to be off for quite a while until they eventually open it up to more people. Another thing is really with killers, I find that it was a really hard time trying to track survivors because I hear the footsteps, but I don't know really what direction they're coming from because it doesn't sound very clear. Case in point there, the killer was coming towards me, and I honestly didn't know. I hear the footsteps, but I don't know if that's honestly coming from behind me or forward.
Guy with flamethrower, try to get over there.
Certain things are just very iffy. You know, in that retrospect. I think tracking is kind of hard on the killer perspective. And also kind of just hearing the footsteps on survivor perspective as well. Communication, again, is very important in this game. If you don't get people playing on mics, you're not going to do well. Another thing that really, I think, is kind of hurt VHS in the long term is the fact that I think this is going to be another one of those games where you have to play it with friends on comms, which is then going to make survive with friends way, way too powerful, and the killers are not going to be able to do too much. I see some glaring flares with that. Built-in proximity chat is kind of good. I've had some pretty good teammates that have communicated. I've had some that are not. I've had some people who have been very toxic. I've had people that have been very elitist in attitude while I've been playing VHS, and this has only been 6 hours. So we're going for this rift here to try to get the location where the killer is, so I think somebody's already there. Yep, they are. Okay. See if we can get healed here. Hopefully be able to take this enemy out. The monster. So, you know, there's a lot of things. Like, in the core, this game is kind of fun, but I don't know. Matchmaking right now has just been dreadful, and it's kind of one of the things where I would say it's hard for me to recommend, just based on the fact that it doesn't feel new player friendly, just based on the limited player pool and how matchmaking pairs you with, like, level 40 survivors if you're a killer, and vice versa. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, a like on this video is greatly appreciated. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, definitely consider doing so, as it helps the channel grow. I'll see you next time.